Now, a few days ago, it was reported that Ukrainian troops had freed Irpin from Russian control. Irpin is one of the suburbs close to the capital city of Kyiv, so extremely important city this. Gaurav Sawant visited Irpin to see what the situation is on the ground. Yes, Ukrainian troops may have pushed back Russian troops, but they're still continuing their shelling and assaults on Irpin.
Shelling at Russian positions, and this is 21st century urban warfare that you witness. Now, this is a built-up area. The plumes of smoke that you see on the horizon there, that is where Russian troops are deployed, and that is where Russians are regrouping according to Ukrainian army, and they are systematically being targeted. This is an active battle zone where India today is on ground zero. There is a gun position not far from here. There are also grads deployed here, those multi-barrel rocket launchers. Now, they are targeting the Russian strongholds, and if you notice a large plume of smoke, and not just one concentration but multiple concentration, that is where this active firing is going on, the shelling is going on. That is where the Russians have regrouped to mount an operation against Ukraine. But the Ukrainian army isn't giving up without a fight. In fact, they're mounting swift counter-offensives to take on the Russian forces. What was said initially, that the Russians are actually saying that they will reduce attacks on Kyiv, but on ground that is not what is happening. On ground there has been intense shelling of localities around Kyiv. Now, there are pitched battles that were being fought both at Irpin and Bucha. We are on ground zero. All these houses are completely abandoned. A lot of houses also bear signs of destruction that has been witnessed in this area. But actively that area is being targeted. You can hear these artillery rounds. You can hear the shelling that's happening in the backdrop, and almost non-stop. There are attacks and there are counter-attacks, and the artillery pieces, they keep moving because there are also weapon locating radars. That's what we've been told. So artillery pieces, and they're in direct firing mode at the Russian positions. So they fire and then they move to another direction, so that when the counter-attack comes, the artillery pieces have already moved by then. So this is the kind of warfare that's happening on ground on the outskirts of Kyiv. We're barely 30 kilometers from Ukraine's capital Kyiv, where this fighting is taking place. Day 35, day 36, if it was anticipated that there would be a reduction in shelling or firing or hostilities on ground, that clearly isn't the case. With cameraman Lalit Mohan Joshi in Irpin, on the outskirts of Kyiv, Ukraine, Gaurav Sawant for India Today.
Let's get you the series of ground reports filed by Geeta Mohan from the city of Mariupol. This city that was once bustling with over 500,000 people now lies completely deserted. You're seeing almost 90% of the buildings, according to Ukrainian authorities, completely damaged due to intense Russian shelling. Russia is going all out to capture the city, and Ukraine is fighting back, which means that Mariupol now is completely unrecognizable. Mariupol, a city under siege. Once home to 500,000 people, it now resembles a ghost town. Russian forces have been pounding the city that could provide them the much-needed bridge between Donbas and Crimea, the two regions controlled by them in eastern Ukraine. India Today entered Mariupol to get the world's first independent account from inside the city. What India Today saw was a city in complete shambles. Residential areas, schools, hospitals, they all suffered damage. Under siege, Mariupol is also running out of water and food supplies. With no electricity and connectivity, people of the city are living their worst nightmare.
Уехать невозможно, потому что нет денег, и мы не знаем куда. So first goal is he have no money. He have money on bank account, but banks doesn't work. He cannot take cash, and that's why he afraid to go anywhere without money. And also things he showing that there is no water, so they can even wash themselves.
So that's why he's showing his hands, that there's no water to...
Yes, he said all of people now in city have such a hands because there's no water to clean yourself. They bring in water, so you can...
Humanitarian aid is finding it difficult to get into the city and reach the needy. With many roads inaccessible due to mines and burnt-out military equipment.
Боялись буквально выезжать отсюда, а сейчас, ну, по сути, и ехать особо некуда даже, если вдуматься.
So they were afraid to escape of the city because they didn't have information. They didn't know where is danger or where is not. So they were afraid to get to a place where the place worse than here. So that's why they decided to be here. And now, for the moment, they suppose that to stay here is also more safe than to go somewhere. It's because they don't have information.
While the living are suffering, the dead are denied basic dignity. Graveyards are inaccessible and people are burying their departed loved ones in their neighborhoods itself. A city under siege where people have not been able to escape. Loss of lives innumerable. So much so that the heartbreaking story of graves being dug for their loved ones in the very same colony where they're living, just beside the building which houses them, people are now burying their loved ones. That's how difficult life here in Mariupol is for people who either decided to stay back or have not managed to flee the city of Mariupol. Many parts of the port city are now under Russian control. Mariupol is where Ukraine's Azov battalion is giving Russians a tough fight.
Yeah, it's a Ukrainian military truck that was destroyed by our artillery 16 March at night. Ukrainian soldiers drop the Vinnytsia and go to the Azovstal.
Right. So how much of the Mariupol area is now under Russian control?
At 60-70% of Mariupol now at control of military of Donetsk People Republic and Russian forces.
A city under siege. 2 days ago, President Zelensky admitted that there is no way to keep control of Mariupol. Today, Mariupol is maximum under Russian control. President Zelensky had wanted jets and tanks from the West, from NATO. But now, Russia put all its force to ensure that this critical city comes under their control. There were 4 lakh people when the entire operation from the Russian side began on the 24th of February, and now there are less than 1 lakh people. The state of affairs of people living, who continue to live in Mariupol, is absolutely in a very, very bad shape. Their life destroyed, and the city will take a long time to be rebuilt. With British journalist Satya Rautre in Mariupol, Geeta Mohan for India Today. One big story that we're tracking very closely this morning is Russian Foreign Minister, Top Lieutenant Vladimir Putin in India today. You've got Sergei Lavrov in the national capital today. The details of the schedule are expected to be shared shortly, but extremely important to visit this considering the timing. It's happening, of course, amid the Russia-Ukraine war. Lavrov's visit to India comes as the West continues to pressure us to pick a side in the war, which has kept the world on edge. US President Joe Biden, remember, had singled out India, calling its response to the conflict shaky after India abstained 6 times to vote on a resolution against Russia at the UN. Talks on oil and military hardware are likely to be on the agenda during the Russian foreign minister's visit, which will be just a day after the US Deputy NSA, the National Security Advisor, Daleep Singh's visit to India. India continues to put its interests first. Oil contracts between India and Russia have reached 6 million barrels for March and April alone. India has imported 3 million barrels from Russia at discounted rates so far. India has also slammed the West for politicizing legitimate energy transactions.